Hello. Hello, beautiful Wonder Ones. Welcome to your day, wherever you find yourself to be, whatever place in the world you're tuning in from. Thank you for taking this time for you, taking a moment out of your week to tap in, just to have a moment to look internally. Because the whole world is represented by what's going on in here. I'm going to be bumping my feathers all the time. So welcome to Ceremony, Spirit and Energy. My name is Jen Magenta Moon and I'm very excited to be with you today. Thank you for joining me. Hi Scott. So today, it feels quite big. I had lots of conversations this morning around the different topics that feel very present with what we're going through is in a collective sense, which, you know, the macro is a representation of what's going on in the micro, and the micro is within us. What we are experiencing is what we're seeing in the world. And one of the themes that's been present this week is that notion of us actually being scared of getting what we want. That we're in this perpetual cycle of always striving for something that we don't have. And that perhaps loving what we actually have right now, is going to stop us from getting what we want. And today I want to go into breaking this cycle. Breaking this looping pattern that we're in so that we can be joyous in the now, in the here and now. We can love what is as it is and still be moving towards our goals, moving towards the things that we want, the experiences that we want to have, but coming from a place of fulfillment. Otherwise, what's the point? We're always going to be searching for something else to bring us that sense of fulfillment, to bring us that sense of peace. And we're never going to actually get there because we're always going to tag the next thing and move towards the next thing. So I was chatting with Spirit this morning about what is it that's holding us back? What is it that, you know, is the issue or the thing that's there that stops us from actually being able to live in a state of peace and fulfillment? And I noticed within myself, for what we're all traversing, what we're all moving through is our capacity to help others. We've had Chiron, which is an asteroid in the sky, come into retrograde last week. Now, Chiron is known as the wounded healer. Where it falls in your natal chart, and look, I'm not an astrologer, I know things bits and pieces, but I understand that this asteroid, where it's placed, will be the thing that you traverse in this lifetime, will be the wound that shows itself. And when you get that wound triggered, which most of us would have felt some level of that last week, if not continuing. It's our opportunity to look at it again, look at it with fresh eyes. When we start to repeat in patterns and we're looping in what we are shown that we need to face. And, you know, I for one was like, are you serious? Are we going through this again? Really? I've faced this demon. I don't want to look at you again. Why are you rearing your ugly head? One of my core wounds is abandonment, and this is from my Chiron being in Taurus in the 3rd house, and that's about communication, about connection, about community. So from a very young age, I've had this playing out, these scenarios where I will be abandoned. And I noticed through self-enquiry last week, doing my spiritual practices, taking time to look at what was coming up, why it was there, understanding that emotions are here to communicate to us, that I was able to notice that the perfect girl, she's probably, I don't know, 5 years old that started to learn this, that she needed to be a chameleon, needed to present herself in specific ways in order to be liked and accepted and welcomed and wanted. Therefore, she worked out how to be in the world so that she felt valuable and worthy and good enough. She'd been back driving my bus of life again, you know, and I was like, oh gosh, I didn't even know you were here. Like, what are you doing? She'd been sabotaging stuff in my world. She'd been stopping me from doing things that I know I want to do, I have a passion for, I'm here to do in this lifetime, that my soul is continuously saying to me, hey, keep showing up for that, keep showing up for that. She would sabotage it in the most sneaky ways of illness, of fatigue, of creating emotional circumstances so I can't face that thing today, of distractions from other things, of financial impacts, you name it. And when I look at this, and I look at this sabotage that we do to ourselves to stop us showing up, to stop us being in a high vibration, it prevents me from then doing things that could potentially lead to this abandonment wound being, you know, the hot poker being put back into it. So through this experience that I've gone over in the last week, and I posted over the last couple of days about how time is speeding up, how our ability to process, to integrate what we're experiencing is speeding up. The more conscious we are, the more we have these healthy self-inquiry systems, how we know to inquire and work with spirit, how we can do tangible things like ceremony and ritual just to help to ground what's going on for us. Ooh, getting goosebumps, must be hitting on the truth for my guides around me at the moment. This allows us to just move through stuff that would have taken ages in the past. You know, when I look back, I don't know how many years now, pre-2015, I spent more time feeling not great than I did feeling good. And now, even in those moments when I am suffering, I feel like I'm doing air quotations a lot today, because suffering is a choice, I'm still in a knowing inside of myself that it's not me suffering, it's me learning. It is me moving through something so I can get onto the other side and see with a fresh perspective. And I get more good days, majority good days, than I do bad. Any lower density emotions and moods don't stick around for long, and my understanding, my aha, this is what this was here for. Oh, this is why this dropped in. This is why I created this circumstance. Happens so much quicker, and we can move on and get on to the next thing. And if there is any reason to stick with your daily practices, your spiritual practices, your shadow work, that is it. Because we are going to go through the ups and downs. We are never ever in this human experience going to get to a point where everything is sunshine and lollipops every single day. It would get boring as F. We are going to traverse the ups and downs because that's how our soul grows and evolves. That's how we raise in consciousness. That's how our perspective changes. That's the whole point. So if we can learn tools, practices, and techniques to get us to that place of being able to process it super quickly, then we live in a state of joy, that we feel fulfilled, that we have a trust that this is for us. This is not happening to us. So when I tapped in and asked about, like, what are the issues that we're all facing? What can we speak about today and kind of unravel a little bit? Thank you for all the heart showers. I love you. And thank you everyone for jumping on. We will open up the floor once again to some live readings. If you have any questions about what I'm talking about, pop them into the chat and I'll get to them in a little bit. So, have we got an objective view? I kind of want to say no. Like, none of us do. Is there a universal truth? Is there a collective fact? No. Every single person is coming from their own perspective, their own experiences. And when we do that, we are going to be objective from that point, from what we've known, what we've learnt, and we're going to only ever be able to come from our personal truth. One of the things they were showing me today was this. It's like, how can we trust if there is no collective fact and truth? And the topic of trusting science came up. When we look at medical science as it is today, and it has come leaps and bounds, and it helps millions upon millions of people every year. And there are some fantastic people in the world doing incredible work, incredible research, and creating incredible things that obviously help humankind. We can then look back 100 years ago. And I saw a post on Facebook the other day which detailed this beautifully and very articulately, that 100 years ago, if we look at the medical science back then, some of the practices were quite barbaric. You know, they were dishing out heroin and cocaine and lobotomies as healing practices, medical practices. And who's to say what we're going to do in 10, 20, 50 years' time, looking back on today about what we're facing? When it comes to a decision about what we do with our own bodies, and whether we are influenced from our own truth or external forces, you know, the question remains, what is just purely us? We are constantly being stimulated by the media, by our environments, by our own emotions, by spirit. You know, the amount of things that come through in a channeled way that we're not even conscious of would astound everyone. Like the remembering to buy the milk when you're out shopping, to the just go this way instead of that way. Like, we are a energetic being. Our subconscious is tapped into the collective conscious, and not just humans' collective conscious. I'm talking about universal. We have like an internal computer that has the ability to Google search so many things. Now, can we get our conscious mind to connect to that subconscious mind and be able to pull out that universal Google search? That's another question. But it doesn't mean that information's not coming through to our subconscious at all times. And then our subconscious is delivering it to us. Intuitive nudges, inner knowing, illness and health, dreams. So, sorry, I feel like I've gone off track. When we tap into that knowing, when we haven't gone and researched and got education, and, you know, I know for my truth today, and your truth can change. Your truth of tomorrow doesn't have to reflect your truth of today. That my body is saying what I'm not to do at this time. That specific practices that are happening on our planet at the moment are not in my highest and greatest good. And I understand all the arguments and all the research. I'm not physically going out there and doing that research myself. So I feel very hesitant in having conversations with those that want to have that argument and bring that to the table. Because all I can do is come from my inner core truth right now. So when we take out what I'm hinting at, and I'm specifically not using direct words with that today, I just want to bring you back to this place of having an objective view. Are we unhappy or trying to dominate others from a biased standpoint, which we think is actually fact, when I think we've just surmised that there is no such thing as a fact? Because things that are determined facts today, in 100 years could change. They used to think the earth was flat. That was a fact to them. They used to think the medical practices that we're doing were fact. They used to think that like all the things that are being discovered in quantum physics right now were not proven and were seen as hogwash. So we have to be open to the potentiality that everything we know might not be true, that our own beliefs cannot be believed, that we should question our own thoughts and our own beliefs and our own biases so that we're not stuck in a position that it doesn't allow us to move and be open to the grandeur of what's actually available to us. For me, I keep that openness. I have beautiful, really close friends on both sides of the fence, and I want to listen to both of them. I want to be open in my heart to both of them, and also not let their views, opinions, and understanding influence what's in my heart of hearts. How are you judging yourself, your others with their opinions, others with their objective views? Are you reacting to this process of rebirth that the whole world is going through right now? Because it's a painful rebirth for individuals, for collectives. Australia's been very sheltered in what's going on a global scale. We're seeing a little, at the moment, like a pulse of the pain come through, almost like a contraction pain come through, and we're feeling a little bit of it. I have a really close friend of mine who's just returned back from living over in Spain for the last 2 years. And what they've witnessed over there is quite astronomical. We can't even fathom it here. And what's happening on a world scale, unless you follow the news, which I have chosen not to watch news or listen to radio for, I don't know, a good 10 years now, purely for the ability to look after my energy body. Doesn't mean I don't want to learn and understand what's going on out there. It's a choice of well-being and health for me. You know, they're coming from a place of knowing so many different things that impact their decisions and impact their thought forms. We could be quite resisting this change that's going on. And I guess I've had to come to a point of understanding that we're never ever going to go back to what we thought was normal. You know, I was at CrossFit this morning and our trainer started playing Pearl Jam. And that instant, that recognition, it's like muscle memory when you start singing to a track that you've heard 1 trillion times, and the emotions and memories that flood back from that era, from what was happening in that period of time, was just palpable, was tangible almost. And we started speaking about that and speaking about cassette tapes and Discmans and how you'd sit by the radio and have your fingers poised over play and record, so when that song that you love come on, you'd quickly record it, and then I'd listen to it over and over and over again. I remember Zombie by the Cranberries was one of those tracks for me. And one of the other women was saying that her kids saw a cassette tape recently and they had no idea what it was. And it's like, our world is constantly changing. We've just gone through a pretty heavy, like, smack in the face change, and it's quite understandable that many of us are reeling as a response. So how are you feeling about the change that's all around you and happening within you? Because how can you not change within? Your behavior in the world has to change, and that impacts us. I know I don't love having to put a mask on, and I can't really breathe and talk at the same time, and we have to go to CrossFit and wear them and try and get hot and sweaty in them, and it feels restrictive. I don't like not being able to see people's facial expressions. My friend who's just got back from Spain had a baby over there. This baby is just past 1 year old now, and it had never seen other people without masks on their face. There's many, and I've got another friend who's just had a baby, and it's like, what world are these children going to grow up in where they don't get the education of reading facial expressions? It's a language in itself. I think it's fascinating to be able to witness what we're going to see happen as a result of what's going on this world scale. But I want to encourage you to really understand, have time and compassion to look within and say, what am I resisting about this change? Do you catch yourself just wanting it to end and wanting that next phase to occur and wanting this thing to stop and this thing to change? And if I just had this again, I'd feel better. Because this brings me back to the original topic of today of, if you love what is, does that mean you won't get what you want? I've caught myself going, I really love my home. I really love where I am in my relationship. I really love where I am in my business. And for a long time, I loved those things, but I always wanted something more, something to change in some respect. And it just would cause suffering unnecessarily. Yes, I'm looking forward to new things and new experiences, but to love what is right now puts me in a place of feeling happy, feeling fulfilled, feeling like I am on point, I am aligned, I am doing what my soul came here to do. Because my biggest pain point would be to believe that I'm not showing up for my soul. That it took so much energy for my soul to come here, to seed on this planet, to come out through the birthing process, thank you, Mum, and to live, to grow, to experience. Have you ever thought about that? Like how much loving energy it's taken to get you to this point? Disregarding all the pain and trauma and crap you've had to endure in this lifetime, there's also an incredible amount of energy that's brought you to now. Can you appreciate that just for a moment? Hold that in your heart and go, wow, I'm really grateful to be here. I'm really grateful to be sitting on this chair next to my beautiful feathers, my cat asleep next to me, and talking to you guys. What can you be grateful for in this moment? When we think of judgment and wanting to not judge this situation, knowing we're changing, knowing things have to change, yet we're in our comfort zone. Whether that's harmful to us or not, we are in a place that we understand for the moment, that it's familiar, that it's safe, but we're going to be kicked out of that anyway. I was speaking to a client the other day, and he's had a life of crippling social anxiety, of being bullied as a child, of retreating into the world of books and socially isolating himself his whole life, which in turn kept him safe, kept him in his comfort zone, but it stopped him from having the social connections and building the relationships that he now regrets. And he doesn't feel like there's anything he can do to change this, to move through. And I've really been pondering on this, because I do not want to go to this grave, my grave, any grave, with regret. Regret for something I didn't do, for fear around it. And majority of the time, things that are going to stop you from showing up and doing what you came here to do, what you are here to do, for your light to shine its brightest, you are going to come up against fear. You're going to come up against heaps of obstacles. But there is a reason for this. If it was easy to go out and do everything that you were meant to do, there would be no buffering against your being, your thoughts, your beliefs, your soul's purpose for you to grow. It's like when we go and exercise and we damage our muscles, and we damage them so that they grow back stronger. This is the way our soul evolves. So our comfort zone is a beautiful place. And by all means, enjoy it. Have time in there, have picnics, have a week off in there if you like. But nothing ever grows there. So if you want to grow, if you want to evolve and get to a point where you're surfing through life, ups, downs, ins, outs, you're all like, it's all great, baby. It's all amazing. I'm going to keep going with this. Then that's what you need to do. You keep needing to step out of that comfort zone. So when we sit in that comfort zone or sit in that place of feeling a little bit innocent, sweet, naive, maybe we have a lack of experience that's stopping us from stepping out, and we can get quite righteous in that place, quite self-centered, almost callous even, of like, no, I know that this is the truth, that this is the fact of the matter, because I've been here and I get it. I've got this domain, and you can't tell me that it's going to be better on the other side, because I know how safe I am in this place. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. That doesn't mean anyone you see doing this is a bad person. Usually everyone is doing their absolute best. And they are coming from a place of best intention, but their own fears and their own insecurities and their own belief structures and their own bias is stopping them from being able to see outside of their rose-colored glasses, outside of their little comfort zone, with a broader perspective. And as I say all the time, our consciousness is about broadening our perspective, understanding that we are not just this meat suit. I am not Jen. I am an expression of consciousness coming through this body, expressing itself as Jen in this particular incarnation. That expression of consciousness has, like, it's expressing itself at about 10% of its potential, and everything else is kind of stored in that subconscious place, stored in the higher spirit. So what I do and why I do it is I tune into the higher frequencies, the shamanic realm, the spirit realm, my guides, my eternal self, in order to broaden my perspective and get more to be able to bring forth in this physical plane. When we're sheltered and given everything we want, and we don't know suffering because we've stayed in our comfort zone, we can have trouble actually relating to other people when they are suffering. And as many of you, in all the different ways that you help others, you don't have to have the title of a practitioner or a mentor or a coach or a healer to be in service. Service looks like so many things, from being a mother, a teacher, someone who does a random act of kindness, someone who picks up the phone and rings a friend, someone who picks up a piece of rubbish off the street. Like, it is absolutely anything and everything. When you are detached from other people and their situation and their experience, because you haven't allowed yourself to go through that, you've shied away from the pain, you haven't let yourself go into that murky, trench time, that crumbling mess time because of what it might mean, who it would make you to be, potentially judge yourself, or others might judge you, or what if I fall apart and never be able to pull the pieces back together? You stop yourself from living. You stop yourself from being able to be of service. Because if you allow yourself to go through those dark, shadowy bits, you're going to be able to help others and see them and see the mirror that they're showing you and go, wow, I know what you're going through because I went there. And that allows you to serve even more. This is why we do this. This is why we keep going. I hope that I'm making sense today. Yeah. We're being tested. We're being tested to face the knowledge of suffering. And when you lean into this and have healthy self-enquiry techniques, again, I'm going to push Byron Katie's work, having these questions, applying them to every belief and every thought that comes up, this is what's shifted. And my ability to just move through this at rapid speed. Is it true? Do you absolutely know that it's true, this thought or belief? Who are you when you think it? More often than not, you realize it's not true. And then you realize the way you feel, everything you do, the way you treat other people, the way you treat yourself when you believe it, when it's not true, is horrible, detrimental, creates so much suffering. Who would you be without this? I'd be free. Don't we all want to be free? Free in our hearts to love, free in our beings to trust, free in our self to express our truth and our message and our ideas and our insights. Doesn't it feel amazing when we're in that space? Suffering doesn't have to be negative. Suffering can be the answer and the knowledge to help you to move to the next place, to help you to be of service in a way that you never dreamed of. So there's an important element to loving what is. I'm going to take a drink because this is a big one. We need love in our life. We need love. We need others. We need connection. We need to balance our internal aspects. We need to love the different personalities that show themselves. You know, this perfect girl part of me. I'm not going to go and tell her she's wrong and who are you and get out of here. I'm going to nurture her and say, wow, babe, why did you feel like you needed to come back? What happened? What do you need to feel okay right now? What do you need to feel valued and loved and good enough and that you won't be abandoned? This is also beautiful self-inquiry work. We need to feel supported. You know, I'm so grateful when I went through my little self-extraction last week where I'm feeling like I'm going to be abandoned potentially through these different circumstances. So my perfect girl goes, well, we're going to get out of here. We're going to go back into our comfort zone. And she stops me from showing up. She stopped me from being a part and contributing to the teams and the relationships that I have in my world. And instead of my teams and the people in my world turning their back on me and going, well, you're whack, your energy's whack, I don't want to be around you, they leant in, they leant forward, and they were like, what's going on, Jen? You don't seem like yourself. Through that interchange, I was able to uncover what was going on. because I wasn't aware that my perfect girl was sabotaging all these situations. Through them bringing that to my awareness with love, with support, with kindness, being able to see me and love me when I couldn't do that to myself, I was able to uncover all of this. I then went and did a shamanic journey. I did an Akashic Records journey. I journaled and really pulled it all apart till I really got it. And then I went, it's gone. It's gone. All that part of me that was trying to fight for power was gone because I had the tools and I had the loving support around me. If you find yourself in a position where you don't feel like you have that loving support in your life, why aren't you loving yourself? Why aren't you supporting yourself? That's where to start. That is the first and foremost, because as soon as you can turn that around, people are going to be flocking to you to love and support you, because that is the mirror that you're putting out. If you're in your masculine too much, if you're in your doing and active and mind and pursuit, and not balancing that with your feminine side, your loving receptivity and flow, you're going to be out of balance. You're going to then reflect that in your world. When we work with others, you know, we create unity. At the moment, we're in a world of separation and an incarnation where we believe we're all separate. But when we work with others, we're able to find joy and understanding and courage and solutions that we may not have been able to come up with ourselves. You know, I'm personally working on my own business, putting love and attention and energy into sharing about my one-on-one sessions, the free shamanic activation workshop this Sunday. I'm going to be starting a Foundations of Ceremony course in a few weeks. But I also choose to work within a team that I get so much joy and connection and inspiration and love from as well. I work on other people's programs, other people's visions and dreams, because that to me is me doing my work, me doing my soul mission, that I can have impact on so many more lives, but also investing my energy and love and time into those things. So when we are thinking that, you know, I know there's times when I come up and go, I just feel like I don't have time for this, and this has come up and this has come up, and I have to remind myself, I've got all the time in the world, that there is no end destination here, that I'm going to be running this business personally for the rest of my life. I'm going to be showing up, talking about spirit, talking about energy, holding ceremony, doing my shamanic thing for as long as I am breathing. So when I get into that frame of mind, I just reel it back for a moment and go, it's all good. We're doing it. Well done. Well done, past Jen. So coming back to this place of others, the other thing that's really helped me in this connection, in this ability to see people for who they are right now, is taking out the word should. If the moment comes up that I think about my partner or a friend or a colleague, and I'm like, oh, they should have done X, Y, Z. Again, Byron Katie's work, it's like, there is no should. What's the reality of the situation? They didn't, or they haven't, or they've done something else. So you can choose to suffer because they haven't done what you deemed you thought that they should, or you go, it is what it is. This is the reality of the situation. That's what they think, that's what they believe, that's what they did, that's what they didn't do. And that's okay. Each to their own. That's what we want, right? To be accepted for what we have or haven't done. I know my perfect girl wants to show up and be perfect. So when it comes to working for other people and fulfilling their visions for what they're creating, if I don't show up in the way that I think that they need me to, or that I should, I beat up on myself. and I feel guilty and I shame myself, and it's suffering territory. No thanks. I know I'm doing the best that I can at the time. And, oh, my baby girl's sick. Outside. Sorry, guys. Oh, my baby girl. She's not well, and she's old, and yeah. Sorry that. Okay. Gonna draw the energy back in. I'm actually gonna check the chat box. There's so many more things I want to talk about, but I feel like you are all giving me so much love. Thank you for being here. Okay. Wow. 40 minutes I've been talking, guys. It's massive. Hello, Scott. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Stasia. Hello, I'm in comment jail again. What does that mean, Stasia? Hi, Sean. Scott, you mentioned that ceremony, etc. is a grounding practice for helping us focus. Is there a spirit reason for it, or just self-grounding? I.e., does it affect channels, etc. from their perspective? So ceremony is a portal, is a creation of a sacred container. It is going to help you to raise your frequency in order to channel better, in order to open up a space to work with higher energies, whether that's tapping into your own subconscious, whether that's talking to extraterrestrials or your guides. It is like a tool to use to help you with that. Hope that makes sense. Hi, Lauren and Tina. Okay. Yeah, Sean, a fact is not a fact purely due to time. Exactly. And your truth may change from today to tomorrow. Hi, Nadia. Hi, Marnie. Hello, Bon Glover. Marnie, mixed feelings because we need change and I believe better is coming, but feeling unsettled about what we're going through. I'm understanding life won't be the same. Yeah, it is. It's really unsettling. It's like, what is this new normal? And are we going to be okay in it? Are we going to feel safe? Are we going to feel free? So it's, again, coming back into you. How do you feel, make yourself feel safe and free and okay now? Because then your environment's going to change around you. It doesn't matter what's happening on an external basis. Loving what is now is our key to getting through this. Scott, I work on the principle that spirit will always give me what I need and bless me with what I want. Exactly. Scott, okay, can we stop talking about me and my comfort zones? Oh, I get it. Kiara, I'll love to Elkie, yeah. Poor little bum. Okay, cool, awesome. Okay, so when we are fearful, and this actually goes very well with what Marnie just said. When we're fearful of like material difficulties, financial problems, rejection, it can stop us from taking any action. And when we stay stuck and we stop taking divine inspired action because of that fear, and I know we've touched on this earlier, we can't feel fulfilled because we're not moving anywhere. We're making energy stagnant. And if you can, because I know all of us hit problem points, pain points, financial situations. Even if you've got $1 million or $10, you're still going to hit points where you think there's a problem financially. You're going to worry that there's not enough. There might be not enough resources. Look at the way people act around toilet paper, that they believe that things are going to run out and they're going to miss out. There's this scarcity mentality. When we stagnate energy and we stop it from moving, we cannot grow. We cannot find new perspective to move through this. What we're being asked to do is not solve the issue, not feel like, if life's a grind, if I looked at my business like, oh, I've got to keep doing this and this and this because I need to, pay rent. If I ever come at my business from a financial position, it feels like a grind. If I feel like showing up each week live is a chore, like that doesn't work. The energy's stuck. I don't feel expansive in any of that. It's not about solving this. It's not about stopping it from being a grind. It's not about getting $1 million so we don't feel like we're financially unstable. It is about loving this issue as it is right now, appreciating it for what it is showing us and going to teach us about who we are, how we are responding, what are our thoughts and beliefs around this right now. I know when I come up against financial situations and I've come down to the core belief, my core belief actually sits with, I'm letting my soul purpose down, my soul's mission down. I'm letting myself down. I'm letting the business down. I'm letting my family down. And I say, is that true? It's like, well, no, I'm actually showing up and doing the work all the time. And I'm actually been super blessed to be in a country where JobKeeper existed, where I'm in a situation where the government's been able to support small businesses. It's a reframe. It's a different perspective. If we can look at our issues from a different perspective and appreciate them, it eliminates them being a source of suffering anymore. And as soon as you take out that charge, we move past it. Our energy field attracts the next amazing thing because we've turned into a place of gratitude. It's not something that it's easy all the time. I'm definitely not like perfect at this, but I'm applying the practices, the tools and the techniques that I try to teach about so that I'm living it. I'm walking my talk. And this is a way to transcend the pain and make it a lesson. We want to live with the learnings of this, not live with regret. Don't regret not facing things because you were scared of what it was going to mean about you or mean to you. And the alchemy of all this, the alchemy of our soul, and our heart energy and the love that we are pure love energy, is creating a sense of balance with this. We need to compromise with ourselves. There's different parts of our personality that want to talk about different things, believe different things. Just like my perfect girl believes certain things, and the personality of Jen right now believes different to her. We've got to talk not only to the different aspects of ourselves, we've got to compromise with that energy, with the energy that we're around. Take measured steps to move forward in life. Take control of our life through conscious choices, not from the mood of optimism or the mood of despair. When you come to a situation, you have to make a decision, you have to have a confrontation, and you come from an emotional space. And how later you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Or I don't actually feel that way anymore now, I've got over it. Inquiring about your emotions and helping to calm them, to measure them, to balance them before you make a choice is a way to move forward in a sense that is going to keep you on a track, on an aligned path, because you're not being dictated by this onslaught of what us humans deal with in the emotional scape. You know, we need to remove division. The division between who we are in one situation to another. Like, have you gone to work and you present yourself as one person, and then you come home and you present yourself different to your family, and then you go out with your friends and you present yourself different to that? Why? Why can't you just be you in all your expressions, in all the places? Because we fear. We fear judgment. We fear we won't fit in. We fear we'll be abandoned. We fear what it will mean, what repercussions it could have. And I want to encourage you to remove the division between yourself and others. What does that look like? It means showing up as you, being vulnerable, sharing your heart, your dreams, your desires, your thoughts, your beliefs, and being open to other people's, because they're going to be different to yours. No one else on this planet is ever going to think and believe and act the way you do. Isn't it funny when we get into partnerships and we want the other person to think and believe and act the way we think they should, or the way we think we do? And how boring that would be if you were just dating yourself. And that when they come up with different ideas and different things and opens your perspective and it challenges you, makes you go, oh, I don't think that way, and I don't want to be angry or judge you for that, so what does that mean about me? It's an opportunity to grow again. When we remove the division between those aspects of ourselves that I've been talking about, we start to unify our internal field, bring those different aspects into alignment. You know, when I tap into everyone's chakras when I'm doing private sessions, and I amplify and check in, and when we can get those energy centers humming, think of them as emitting sound, and when they are clear and emitting the frequency of the sound that is in most optimal state, they create a harmony. Think of the same thing when we're talking about these different perspectives. Like, imagine going into a room, right? And there was a physical representation of each of your personalities. The angry you, the sad you, the despaired you, the optimist you, the perfect you, the 5-year-old you, you know, it's a packed room, all right? And everyone's vying for attention because no one's paying attention to each other. And then you get you holding the space. Ooh, this feels good. Holding the space for all of you to come forth and say what they need to say. What do they need? What do they believe? Is it true? Who are they when they think that thought? Who would they be without that thought? And you send them off with a nice little packed lunch, and they're happy to sit in the playground and play with the other parts of you. And all of a sudden it's calm, and they start humming in a unified vibration that allows you to be on point. That is when you feel in flow, when you feel like you get it, when there is just trust, just emanating out of your being, when all these signs, symbols, and synchronicities just happen in your world, when money appears out of nowhere. You might find $20 on the ground, or money's from someone's paid you for something that you weren't expecting. When you get a phone call from someone you haven't heard from ages, and they just say something that lights you up. You get an opportunity fall into your lap that is so perfectly aligned with what you want. This is how we love what is. This is how we get what we want, because we have what we want right now. Yes, dream and be open to all of the amazing things out there that are coming and the experiences that you want to draw in, but love what is now. Now, I know Scott commented on the reminder post yesterday talking about, I'm going to open it up so I can read it properly. Come on, computer. There we go. With the awareness of things like Black Lives Matter and Me Too and so many other shifts in awareness, what are some ways from spirit that we as individuals, families, can ensure that we take advantage of this to increase the love energy we are putting into the world? And I want to say everything that I've said today is that, because without us working on ourselves, connecting to spirit, connecting to others, connecting to and connecting all of us to everything, eliminating the division, eliminating the separation, we can't help other people. By being aware of ourselves allows us to be aware of everyone else, allows us to spread that loving energy. Okay, I've talked for a long time today. Okay, I'm just checking the comments. Beautiful. What I want to do is just wrap up by bringing spirit through today and letting them give a little final message that kind of sums up everything we've been talking about today. And I want to invite you to just, if you can and it's safe to do so, just close your eyes for a moment and just open your heart to this energy, this frequency that can come through now. When I tune into my guides, and I'm usually specifically tapping into the Arcturian energy, it's a resonance of love beyond what we understand love to be here. So my invitation is for you to bring it in now. Talking and speaking and opening is all that we ask for you to do. There is an avalanche of opportunity coming that is ripe with expansion, with energy, with openings. However, you need to be in receptivity to this. There is a halo around each and every one of you, a frequency shift, a deepening into the understanding that the light is within, that when you shine this and open to this, that it emanates out and affects the world around you, that there is no you and them. There is only one. And if there is any truth that is universal, that is the truth. That we are all one, that we are all this expression of consciousness in the most multifaceted, complex expression that is incomprehensible. That everything that you see, touch, feel, hear, think, dream, imagine is an expression of this consciousness, is real in its own way. Diving into this opportunity of perspective and understanding is yours to decide, yours to wonder about, yours to take into your day. And are you willing to make a decision to show up, to expand, to take that next step forward from a conscious place? Jen likes to talk about crafting your intention, crafting your life with this intention, creating your world by going within. So dream those big dreams, take that inspired action, and open up this heart to welcome in everything that is here for you. We thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, my friends, for those who have been live with me today, for those who are going to catch the replay. I'm really grateful for this time we've shared, for this energy that's been present today. Now, I know I didn't open sacred space or close it at the end, and I have to trust that this was what was meant to be delivered today. I love crafting experiences and holding space in this way. I wish I could do it in person, and that's going to come. This event that I'm holding on Sunday was actually meant to be a live event, and then all the lockdowns happened, so I decided to turn it into a free online workshop instead. So for any of you out there who haven't yet registered, who are a woman who is wanting to use some really easy, practical, energetic, ceremonial tools and techniques to enhance the way you serve, no matter what that looks like, then this is a beautiful experience. And even if you can't make it on Sunday, register anyway and you'll get access to the replay. And thank you so much for being in this 4-part series of the live lunch hours. I think it's going to transform and morph over the next little while. I'll keep you posted on Facebook. Big, big love, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.